The earthquake in Haiti that struck on January the 12th, 2010 was measured 7.0 on the Richter scale. It hit the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. The United States mobilized assets in response to the earthquake across the government, including USAID, an Agency for International Development, the Department of State, DOS, Homeland Security, in which the U.S. Coast Guard was one of the first to arrive on Haitian shores, Health and Human Services, and the financial backing from the Treasury and, of course, FEMA, all joined the cause for the U.S.-led international rescue. It's estimated that between 220,000 and 316,000 Haitians in total have died, and another 300,000 plus people injured. Over 188,000 houses were badly damaged, with another 105,000 destroyed. 1.5 million people became homeless. The earthquake left 19 million cubic meters of rubble and debris in Port-au-Prince. 4,000 schools were damaged or destroyed. 25% of civil servants in Port-au-Prince died. 60% of government and administrative buildings destroyed. Over 600,000 people left their home and stayed with relatives and host families. At its peak, 1.5 million people now considered homeless were living in camps, including over 100,000 at critical risk from storms and flooding. Also within the first year of the quake, the outbreak of cholera in October of 2010. By July 2011, almost 6,000 have died as a result of the outbreak, and 216,000 were infected. Department of Health and Human Services disaster medical assistance teams saw more than 31,000 patients and performed hundreds of surgeries. Department of Disease medical teams aboard the USNS Comfort provided life-saving treatments to the most critically injured trauma victims, performing more than 840 surgeries. The U.S. government, working alongside the UN World Food Program and other partners, provided food for 3.5 million people. This was the largest emergency urban food distribution in history, and continues to target 1.9 million of the most vulnerable with food assistance. The U.S. government has supported the immunizations of more than 1 million Haitians against highly communicable diseases, including polio. The U.S. government provided the majority of safe drinking water for up to 1.3 million people daily following the earthquake, many of whom lacked access to clean water prior to the earthquake. In addition, the president called upon former Presidents Clinton and Bush to lead the efforts to mobilize private sector donations for Haiti. American citizens and corporations showed their generosity, pledging a reported $1.4 billion. 1 out of every 2 U.S. households contributed in some way. The U.S. government worked with the Haitian government and other international partners in response to the cholera outbreak. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention worked with the Haitian National Laboratory to identify the bacteria of cholera to implement a strong strategy to combat the bacteria. The CDC and USAID, with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization, set up a crisis center in Port-au-Prince to ensure a coordinated effort for the outbreak. The U.S. government has presented their expertise and provided more than $40 million in assistance. This money funded the establishment of more than 30 cholera treatment facilities with more than 1,100 beds. The U.S. government also funding more than 115 oral hydration posts out of a total of 282 established throughout Haiti. The U.S. government has delivered 3.1 million oral hydration sachets, benefiting around 310,000 people. 260,000 liters of IV fluids to treat 32,500 people, more than 15 million aqua taps to help 750,000 people, and 30 metric tons of chlorine, sufficient to treat the municipal water system for 3 months. Investing in economic recovery, actively including programs that have employed more than 350,000 people, about half of whom are women in short-term jobs, injecting more than $19 million into the local economy. Most importantly, this gave the Haitians the opportunity to help out their own countrymen by working alongside the U.S. and other international aid. The logistics involved in the scale and magnitude of such a disaster was immense. After the initial stage of the imminent danger passed, the process of cleaning up and rebuilding needed to get underway, starting with the rubble removal. Next came the hurricane preparedness, And finally, the building assessments and future construction of homes. More than $100 million was given for emergency and transitional shelters, housing repairs, and the construction of more than 12,000 transitional shelters, which are designed to last up to 3 years. The international community, with the United States at the front line, was able to amass the greatest rescue efforts ever undertaken in modern history.
Le va a parir,